Okay, perfect. Usually when I get the broadcast started, I try to refresh my page just to make sure it's on, but it looks like it's on. So this is great. Hey, I appreciate you, Ryan, for being on and spending a little bit of time to share a little bit of your knowledge. I'm super impressed because I really didn't know much about sales in terms of the people that teach it. And then I never heard you before until I saw one Facebook ad. I was like, okay, this guy seems cool, new. I pressed it. I watched the video, and it just like screaming at my face in terms of the passion, the energy, and you didn't stutter. That's what got me, is the passion and the energy was there, and you didn't stutter. You knew exactly what to talk about. I'm like, who is this guy? And then I went to your YouTube and just blown away. I'm like, okay, this is the new guy I'm gonna start listening to. Done the Grant Cardone thing, which is great, but try to see what's fresh out there. And you sir, certainly got it going on, man. So I definitely appreciate you jumping on.
I appreciate it. Rob, I am really passionate, not about sales, really. Like, sales is cool. I'm passionate about I'm passionate about people and the things that money does for people, and sales is a quick way to make money, right? And so that, I'm really passionate about. I've been broke, and I've come from a place of not having anything, of being homeless, and hell, I've even been to prison and everything else. And so I've had to start from bottom. So I'm passionate about people that are winners, that are down on their luck. And, when I get to saying some of this stuff, man, the fire comes out of me, because I'm speaking from, the heart and experience, which is a powerful combination.
Yeah, and I can tell, man, and I can tell. And one of the other reasons to enhance your passion is you got this goal to help provide for salespeople, 100 million people or something like that, right? And that was really touching and moving. So
yeah,
I want to
300 million.
Yeah.
Well, it's even stronger than that, man, because so the goal for, we say this every week on my podcast, I need your help, because I'm trying to reach 300 million salespeople and help them.
300 million, here's
the thing. Yeah, and that's the goal, right? But recently we've done things to make that even more of an experience, not just give them free content, but I'm starting a foundation and a charity, like a nonprofit, basically. And we've already filed the paperwork, so we're just waiting on the exemption. A lot of people, like you just mentioned, somebody that's a famous sales trainer, a lot of people have made a lot of money from the sales community, and then they go start a charity that takes care of kids or whatever. I'm like, why is nobody helping us out? I'm not saying we take all this money from the sales community, because we give you guys value and you make money in sales because of it. But I mean, that's the people who pay us. Why wouldn't we want to escrow some of that money and raise money from other fellow salespeople? Say you live in a commission-only job and you catch some kind of terminal disease, man, and you're the breadwinner for your family. Somebody like me can now step in and pay your bills for a few months while you get things back on track with your insurance and out of the job, stuff like that. I want to, it's about reaching 300 million so that we can save as many of them as possible.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that speaks volumes not only to your character, but also to your vision, right? So I think a lot of salespeople, tunnel vision is, but then for you to model that vision of being able to forecast in the future with a broad spectrum of helping people, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge. So I appreciate that.
I always just keep looking for, how can I do more for people? I find that if you help enough people, then you're making a significant enough impact in the universe to where, I've got other businesses besides just the sales training business that are prosperous too. And I believe that's because I feed so much awesomeness into, and I have the other businesses because I'm in the sales industry. I do real estate because I understand real estate sales. I do, we have an alarm company because I understand internet marketing, and that I might as well have something that complements the real estate. But without this sales training, I wouldn't know those people were my business partners to have those businesses.
Yeah, cool. So I have one question that's going to guide us and probably cap us too. And it's about what you do as a hardcore closer, right? And the question is, are you able to still be an even keel closer and close a bunch of deals with the hardcore mentality? Or do you have to be super all in it with that mentality, and then you'll be able to close deals? Can you balance the emotion and the approach, still maintaining that hardcore approach?
Yeah, absolutely. So hardcore is kind of really more about my background more than the style. That people started calling me that, and I know this, Rob. If somebody gives you a cool nickname, you go with it, because the next one may be shit his pants or something like that. That's my buddy Pants Shitter. You know what I mean? You never know what the next nickname could be. So I didn't want to wind up being the shit pants guy. So I just was like, hardcore closer, I'm gonna take that one. That one's mine.
Yeah.
But really that name came about as a joke. We were doing escrow work for this title company, and there were these little old ladies like the blue hairs, and they were in there, and they had on their business card, it said closer. And like, I've always worked in sales, so when we were doing these escrows, I'm like, look who's the real closer. The hardcore closers over here are these like little old ladies that push paperwork. And it was just like kind of an inside joke. But then I was like, dude, that's actually a really cool name. And I started a business or a website in the beginning around it. But I think that even myself, right? Like I'm passionate about the sales community, but when I'm on a sales call, I'm not like trying to hype somebody up. I'm asking questions, trying to find out what's up with them, because I think that you have to have an even kill as a salesperson. If somebody's super hyper in a sales situation, that hyperactivity, hyperness can also be confused with anxiety. And so if you're like super amped, it's like, let's do it. You're like, why is this guy trying to rush me through something? You know? Whereas I think the key to sales, it's like you guys don't learn anything from anything I've ever said, and you just happen to watch this video. The key to sales is empathy. When someone believes that you understand their situation, not sympathy, not that you feel sorry for them, but that you understand, you feel for them, you have an understanding of where they're come from. Oftentimes people say, well, you know, if you walk a mile in my shoes, or if you understood where I come from, or you don't know what it's like to be me. Once you as a salesperson can demonstrate to them that you do know what it's like to be them, you have walked a mile in their shoes, and you create that empathy. That's what really sells stuff. And in order to create empathy, unless somebody else is up here hype, then you can't be empathy. Like you can't have like 10 levels of empathy and they're down here like being cool. You just have to, oftentimes it's as simple as, Rob, man, I hate it when that happens. But you know what? If you come over here, you do business with us, we make sure that things like that don't happen again, because we understand the negative consequences of it. Then people are like, dude, this guy understands my scenario. Like, you ever been in trouble? Like, let me give you a good example. So last week I bought a car for my assistant, right? I bought her every 2 years, I buy her a car. And I went to the Infiniti dealership to get her a new car, and the person there, they told me it's going to be like a certain amount, and it was $200 more a month that they wanted, because I lease cars, I don't buy them. So and it was $200 more a month, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I called the next dealership the next day, and I'm like, hey, these guys tried to get over on me over here, and here's what I'm looking for. And the guy's like, man, I hate it when that happens. You know what? We deal with that an awful lot. You know, and in this business, that's something that happens a lot, because there's a lot of people that aren't professional. But here's the thing, if you come over here, the numbers that we work out, they will be what they will be, or they will be less when you arrive here. And I promise that. If not, then I'll give you $1,000. He's like, I understand your situation, and I've been there before, and I know how to solve it so much that I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, right? And he did. And guess what? I ended up paying a little bit more over there because I bought some extra stuff from him, because I enjoyed the experience, right? And so, you know, but it's like that person understood. It's like, oh, if he'd have been like, man, I never heard of that before, it would have been hard for me to try to sell my story to him. And even if he hadn't heard of that, it's still in his best interest to pretend that he did, because if someone can see that you understand their problem, and especially if you have a track record of fixing people with their problems previous to that, like someone comes to me and they say, does this work for, let's say, solar? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We've used this in solar, because people think solar is different because it's new, right? We say, absolutely. We ran solar funnels. We've done green energy and green living stuff. We've networked with people that are real estate investors and on the West Coast and the East Coast and everything else. It's absolutely perfect for you. But here's what you've got to do in order to make it work for you. That person gets like, okay, they've done this for somebody, and they're telling me on how I can make my business work. Like, that's when you get that expert status. They understand what it is that my problem is, and they know how to fix it. That's when people buy from you.
Nice. So that's reassuring, because oftentimes I think, so I'm a digital marketer. So a lot of marketers, they want to go and close, but they feel that they're not extroverted, or they don't know the tips and tricks. So they just quit. They'll send emails or do that prospecting. But you're saying it's fine. As long as you have a heart and empathy towards that person, you've got a shot, a pretty good shot.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. If you're oftentimes we don't even sell what the prospect wants. So if you're selling mortgages, people don't want a mortgage; they want a house, right? If you're selling credit repair, people don't want credit repair. They want the debt collectors to quit calling them, and they want cheaper bills, right? They want to quit being harassed and turned down every time they need to make something happen. You know,
Wow.
if you're selling solar, nobody wants solar panels. They want to get off the grid. They want to quit relying on government energy. They want to be deregulated. They want to be able to sustain in the event that something happened, right? You
Right.
have to understand that's what you're selling. You're selling the ability that you're able to give the middle finger to the government, or the ability that you're able to prove to your friends that you're green, or the ability that if in the event something happens, your house is still going to be able to function. Or maybe you own a Tesla and you want the roof of your house to be able to charge your car so it doesn't cost you extra electricity money. There's something else that they want there, but oftentimes we're stuck trying to sell the mortgage. It's like, here's
Yeah.
the interest rate, here's the terms, and they don't even know shit about it. And you know what I mean? And then you're over educating them. Then they've got a bunch of decisions to make, when all along, all they wanted was somebody to go, look, you sign right here. I'll make sure that this house costs you $2,200 a month and not a penny more. And we'll have it done by March 1st. How about that? That's all you needed to say. You know,
That
I
big.
think that makes a big difference. You sell what they want, not what you sell.
Yeah. That's huge. That's big. That's big. I think because it's such a struggle, that would be a great place to start, is to be a little more understanding and think of what they want versus what you have to sell. That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. Thank you.
The biggest thing that the biggest thing to do, I learned this as a copywriter. I think that's what's really helped my sales skills a lot. The biggest thing to do is when you're fixing to sell somebody, first of all, you want to go through the funnel or the experience or whatever that would lead them to you. And you want to ask yourself, what would compel somebody to do this, right? And what would make somebody say, you know what, dude, I want to give my social security number, a whole bunch of money, and be financially audited, let them look at my tax returns. Like, what's an underlying thing that would want somebody to do that? I don't know, maybe they got a job raise and they can finally afford their dream home. Maybe they lost their job and they got to sell their home to store up some money and move into an apartment. Maybe they got relocated. Maybe they got divorced. Maybe they got a kid coming. Maybe they got kids going to college. Like, there's some motivating factor for people, like in this instance for a mortgage, right? And that's what I always say is you got to find those motivating factors. You don't even have to be a good salesperson at that point. You identify the motivated factor, offer them a solution that fits their needs. They're not going to shop you around because they like, oh, this dude gets it and he knows how to fix it.
I think that's the optimal term, is they get it. Yeah, they get it. Cool.
Yep.
Hey, so where can people go to find more information about you and possibly take a course or dig deeper?
So the best thing to do, I have the blog, hardcorecloser.com, and it's tons of free information. Sign up, get on my email list and all that good stuff. But here's the best thing for your listeners. Like right now, I still have about 2,000 books left that I'm giving away for free. So they can go over to elevatortothetop.com and they can get a free paperback copy of my book shipped out to them. So that would be the best place to start. Read my book, check all that out, elevatortothetop.com.
Awesome. I want us to do a little book club, read a couple chapters, get together, and then brainstorm about what we learned. So this might be a perfect time to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a practical book. There's no motivation. It's not a, listen here, what you got to do is you got to go get your pants on, you got to put a tie on, you got to go to work. It's not that. It's like, I think the first chapter is like how to build a pipeline super fast when you're starting out with nothing in a brand new sales job. So it's like practical stuff that you can do to no matter what you sell, that you can do to make more money. That's
perfect. Well, great. I'm going to put that in the comments and then also in the description, and then I'll be sharing that as well. So, hey, I appreciate your time. This has been huge, and I think my biggest lesson out of it is be empathetic and be the person that gets it. Yeah, don't worry about being an extrovert. I appreciate it, dude. This is awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, Rob.
Okay, thank you, man.